Hey, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Bob Patel with Century 21 Select out of Visalia, California. Most of you might are going to be from Select, and I also put the invitation out to everybody in the Century 21 franchise if anybody wants to join in. Since we all, as one big, huge family, use the same tools, I figured let's just do it for everybody. So we are going to go get started. So give me 1 second, make sure I got the right screen. And that is not what I want. So let me switch this out and get the right browser. So those of you that are brand new, we're going to walk through how to log into 21online.com. And most of the time, everybody will go through 21online.com. So basically what you do is sign into 21online.com with your Century 21 credentials, typically your first name dot last name at century21.com, and then the password that you had set. Two ways to get into your Moxi account or to search for it. Basically, you go into your menu, work your way down to Productivity Hub. This is where all your tools are located from Century 21. So once you click on that, and let me open up this window. Okay, you're going to work your way down to the M's. So if you notice, you have Moxi Engage, Moxi Impress, Moxi Present, Ignore Talent, because most of you don't have it. I do as a manager, and Moxi Website. All of those that Engage, Impress, Present, Website will lead you to the same landing page. So you can just select any one of them. So go to Moxi, and basically what it's going to do is it'll bring you here. The other way, if you want to save it as a bookmark, you can actually type in MOXI, my Moxi, .century21.com. So if you save that as a bookmark, what that will do is it'll actually land you right here. And basically what it does, when you click mymoxi.century21.com, it goes to 21online.com to see if you're signed in. Once it knows you're signed in, it brings you right to your landing page. So that's typically how I go, because most of the time, most of us don't ever sign out of 21 Online. We just exit the browser. So that's how you would get here. So these are all your Century 21 tools. We are going to be talking about Rise and how to create Rise custom emails. So when you select the Rise tab on the top, it basically brings you here to this landing page. So this is where you would be. So the way the dashboard works, and we're going to keep it short and simple so we can get to what we need. This is your basically calendar. And of course, if you notice, there's a market inside 93291. There's a email that is scheduled to go out that I have set up this today. I was playing around. It's right there. So that email right there, it's scheduled. So it knows if I had any tasks scheduled today, it would show here. This is my database health in the middle. It was refreshed 7 hours ago, so I can hit refresh, and it's going to go back and check the database that I have, the amount of leads I have or contacts, and it says it's fair. The reason why it says this, I have at contact type 2,900 contacts, 556 of them have tags. Basically, what that means is when I have my leads in Moxi contacts, I'll organize them by tags, saying first-time homebuyer, investor tag, first responder, whatever tags you want to create. And this way, it helps you organize and filter your leads. Okay, so and then you have a section, if you have individuals that are highly engaged with your emails and campaigns, they show up there. If you have any campaigns that have finished, they show up in the middle tile. Opportunities, they haven't finished putting that together. If I have any campaigns currently, this is the one that's running, and it's typically only me. I sent it to myself just to show you. And if you have any listing information, it goes where it says listing interaction. The only reason mine is not as full is because I'm not a selling agent. I'm actually a salaried manager, so I'm non-competing, so I don't compete against my agents or none of you in real estate. So that's why I use the system just to learn it so I can teach you, but I don't have the context to show you how it works. But I understand the system, trust me. We are going to the third tab down on the left-hand side. And if you have any questions, please put it in the chat and Mitch will just interrupt me so I can make sure that I'm not just losing anybody while I'm going. But the cool thing about the emails is that in Moxie Rise is once you create them and you use the placeholders and you have a specific email you want to send out to, let's say, first, every time you meet a first time home buyer, every time you meet somebody that is buyer or seller or anything that you want to categorize, you can actually send that email to them and it'll personalize it to the person. So emails are great because once you create one, the template is pretty sweet. But to take advantage of it, if we backtrack one step under contacts, what you want to make sure is I'm going to find myself. You always want to make sure in your Moxie account, you have yourself added as a lead. Make sure you do that. The reason why is because you can practice creating emails, sending out campaigns, adding tags, listing notifications. You could test it with yourself to make sure it's working before you blast it out to your leads, campaigns, and everything. So I always recommend adding yourself as a lead in your own platform and practicing with that particular person. So when you take advantage of emails, especially the one on the market insight, which is very powerful, you want to make sure that whatever contacts you add in here, you want to make sure you have an email. Because especially if you have, let's say I added Bob Patel into my database and I tagged him right here at the bottom. It says military campaign is subscribed, but I don't want that. So he's a buyer. I'm going to tag him as a buyer. He's also potentially an investor. See, if there's a tag created, it'll pop up. So I just select it. I can remove one. There you go. So he's a buyer and he's an investor. Great, I got it. So, and then you want to make sure that whatever information you have, his name, first name, last name, preferred. If you know his birthday, put it in. If there's a house anniversary, because maybe you know around the time they close their home, put it in there. Main thing is your email address, because when you send these campaigns out, they go via email. When you understand how the market insight works, you're going to want to make sure that you have their zip code that they reside in, primary, their location zip code is important. And then if you notice on the left-hand side, it says insight location. So when you do a market data report for a client, you can say, hey, I want Bob Patel to get market insight for 93291. Even though he lives in 93277, but maybe he's looking to move to Northwest Visalia, which is 93291. You can send him market data report on how the market is in Northwest Visalia or in that zip code. So this way you're hoping that, hey, if my potential client that's looking to move to another part of town or within the MLS based on where you are, I can give him relevant data so he can make the right decision so he knows when, hey, you know what, market's good in that neighborhood or the pricing is actually good, let me do it. Or you can decide, you know what, Bob, what if they also wants to know how the market is in his own zip code? Well, then you add both zip codes and and I'll show you how to do it. It's really easy. The client will get market data on the zip code, both zip codes. So you could tell our clients, hey, I can put both zip codes in because you're moving within the county of where I have MLS access. And this way you'll know when the time is right to sell and maybe potentially know when the right time or the right property comes up that you want to buy. Hopefully it makes sense. So make sure that whenever you add any leads, you have their email. This is not as important contact type at the moment for this training. But you want to make sure that you have the insight location for where they might be interested to get data. And the location zip code is where they live. And make sure you have their email address. Big thing. Okay. So enough said on that one. So we're going to go to email tab. And I'm going to show you there's a lot of nuances, but most people, when they create an email, they just create one and send it. They don't understand that I could literally customize this thing very uniquely. So we're going to go to create an email. We are not using one of these existing. These are pre-done templates like the June Life at Home newsletter. You could actually select that next and then send it out to everybody in your database. Boom. I want to send it out tomorrow. Boom. And it'll go out. And then you're like, you know what? And then at the end of the month, I'm going to do the July when it comes ready. And you can set yourself on a schedule. It doesn't do in a campaign for a whole year. You just have to select it individually. Okay. But what we are going to do, you have shared. If there's anything that's shared, which is what we were on, and then if there's any templates. Templates is what we're going to use. Basically, a template is just a starting base template, nothing in it, because I want you to see how the builder works on creating your own custom emails. So we're going to select, so you're going to go, let me start again, create an email, go to template, select the base template. You're going to hit next. You're going to give this a name. This name for this email is only for you. So you can say, oh my God, I need to create three different emails. So maybe for a investor. Okay, great. Then this one could be investor email for 93291 and then put a one. Or investor email two, investor email three. So you know that when you set up the campaigns, I'm going to select email one to go out first. 30 days later, I'm going to set up the email that says investor email two or investor email three, 30 days after that, or 7 days, how you want to do it. This way you can differentiate emails. So I'm going to call this training, and I'll just put today's date, dash one. Okay, let's say one. Then I'm going to go next. Now, right here, this is where the subject line is the subject line that would go to the lead. When they see it in there, when the email comes through, what is the subject line? That is what this would do. Let's say move to 93291. I'm just making up a subject line. This is what the client will see in their email. And now you have this information right here. Basically, plain and simple. So, but what this is this first module, Dear First Name, what it does, it's a placeholder. If you notice here, it says placeholders. Under contact, first name, last name. So if I was to go at the end of first name, add a space and go last name, it'll automatically fill the customer's first and last name. So whoever you have in your database, if you send it to 50, every person that gets it this will automatically fill in their first and last name. Some people don't do that because they don't have all everybody's first and last name. So you're like, you know what? I don't have everybody's last names. Well, then switch it back out to first name. It'll automatically fill it in. Of course, you don't have to worry about, hey, I want to just verify your email is whatever. Not going to work because you're already emailing them. But you can actually create a placeholder for display name, a greeting, their cell phone number, their phone number, their address, their city, state, zip. You can create these placeholders to put in here. So let's say after you wrote this verbiage, I just want to verify that you are still residing, well, still, you are still residing at, if I can type, it would be okay, at the customer's street address, street address, comma, city, space, zip code, space, city, state, zip code, boom. So now, period. So what happens is when this email goes out, if you have put the address for the customer on their profile, it'll automatically drop the address. No matter who you're sending it, you can create this custom email, save it, send it out 6 months later, and as long as the client information, you have this information, it'll automatically fill it. So you don't even have to, once you have like a prospecting email that you're doing, you don't have to write these all over again. If you can use the short codes where it will automatically replace the client's info as long as you have the info. Okay. And then you can say the other part here says inside location. So this could be like you're saying, I'm double checking to still if you double checking. See, to place the inside zip code. So double check to see if you're still considering moving to, and it'll automatically put the zip code. where you don't actually matter. Yeah, you still thinking of moving to this city or whatever it is, it'll automatically fill it in. So it's pretty cool. Now, once you do this, you could write this out. Now, if you notice there's a smart copy on top, I don't know if it's going to erase this, so I'm going to copy it. So smart copy says, okay, you have this verbiage right here. Do you want to lengthen it in a casual tone, serious tone, professional tone, or friendly? Let's say friendly and just make it a little bit longer. So then generate, and I am going to hit done. So now it dropped it this way. So if you notice, it extended it, but it took all my short codes out. So just be careful. If you end up using the AI smart copy, you are going to have to go in and says, okay, well, this was supposed to be first name. Okay, this was supposed to be street address. And it's really simple. The problem is where most people have trouble is because they don't take enough time to practice. So we're going to go here, city, city, state, zip code. And making sure you're comfortable. Additional here from you. Considering contemplating a move to insight location. See, so now the short codes are done. So there's two ways to do it. You could type it all in and then decide, hey, I'm going to use the short codes and fill it in where it's supposed to be. And let's say this is how you want it. Perfect. When you click back in here, if you notice there's bold, italics, underline, this is where you can decide I want to get specific information that you want to do. So if I wanted to confirm, I want to make it bold, it'll make it bold. All depends on what you need to bold, what you want to italics, and what you want to underline. If you're going to create bullet points, you use the bullet points in dots or numbers. The link, it says, hey, maybe you put search for homes today, and you can highlight all of it or just homes and say, I want to link that to my website. So bob-tel.c21 select group.com. HTTP. Yes, there you go. Or I can create the link to a phone number, social landing page, or a system link. But we're going to do website address. Continue. So now this becomes clickable. So if I was to go view, preview, this is my email. The short codes will fill in, and this is a link. If somebody clicked on it, it's going to land them on my website. And now remember, this is just a preview, but I wanted to show you how the link still works. The short codes will fill in the client's information. So this is super powerful because you can create a particular letter that you want to see for a specific category. And every time you have a client, you need to send it out. Guess what? The verbiage is exactly what you want to say, but it'll actually personalize it based on the short codes for the particular customer you have in your database. Okay. So this particular section is this column number one row column. That's what this is. You can go 2 or 3. If you go 3, I'm going to drag it down underneath. It looks like this. You can create content on the left, content on the right. I'm going to delete this. If I go back into here, if you notice in, not there, it's a one column if I hit edit. I could have picked 2 or 3, but then I want this particular thing to go all the way across. Also, if you notice under edit, this makes copy. Sorry, this is move it down, move it up based on each module. If you click edit, if you notice, there's a padding option, background color option, inset location, and color. Padding means the space you have right here where the W starts to where that line is to the edge. So if I was to go in and says, hey, make it 20, see the padding increased. This little section increased. If I go back and say, make it 0, it shrinks it all the way to the edge. So it's how much of a padding. Default's always default. I wouldn't mess with it much. You could also change the background color. and you're like, you know what? I want the background to be gold. Well, it's gold. That's what that is. But this inset color is that little padding on the edging that I was showing you. You can decide I want that a different color. And so now the inset location is here, or I can flip the coloring. So if I come back in here and says, you know what, I want this one to be gold. I want this one to be black. See, so there's a lot of different nuances you can do. I just wanted you to be aware. Most people are not going to use these or touch them, but if you ever, for some reason, have to emphasize something, you can. Right here is where you can drop an image. One image, two image, three, or four. Let's say you want two images. You just drag them. Where do you want it? I want it right after that verbiage. Great. What kind of pictures do you want? You click on the little photo icon, and then you upload a picture. Let's say I just picked the logo. Um, but it's not showing because my logos are not showing. Yeah, I just picked that. Okay, there's one picture, and in here I can select another picture. And that's how easy it is to add pictures. If you needed to add one, you just go to photo and upload. Far right hand corner and upload the picture that you want. And then you add it into here. Really simple to do. Photos are really easy to add. So this is a two, then you can go three and you can go four, just like you can come in here and says, you know what? Two, three, or four. If you go four, it's going to be really small. See, they're all really small. And it's just pictures, has no relevance to anything else like that, not a link to anything. The one below, text and images, is where you can put an image, a photo on the left. Let me just pick that one. And then I can add verbiage. Maybe there's something you want to showcase, maybe an event in your city or whatever you want to showcase. Um, the second one is where your image is on top, the verbiage is below. So it's not a two and one, it's a one and two. Okay. So if I edit, see, you can also switch out text on the right, verbiage, and you can split it. But we're going to go through and delete this and go, let's say three images. Now you have three, but that's the wrong one. This one. Image on top, verbiage below. And then this is where you will add the picture. Just like that. And it loads pretty fast. Click on it again and you still have the option. You're like, delete, I don't want that. Then you got an option on property. This is actually pretty neat. So you can say, you know what, I want to showcase some properties, Bob. I said, let's say you have a listing, then you can do featured, drag it over, and you go to this bottom right-hand corner and you start looking for the property you want to showcase. Or maybe you don't have a property, but one of the agents in your office does, and you're like, you know what, I want to showcase one of these. I'm going to showcase this property. So if you go, that's how fast it loads. There you go. Properties in here. If I preview, see, and here's your verbiage that you put in. So that's how you can do a featured property. Maybe you don't have a featured property, and it's really simple. You decide you want to do a grid, four properties, two on top, two on the bottom. You drag it over, same difference, and all you do is look for the little blue icon with a house. You tap it, and you're like, and then now the hard part is like, okay, once it loads, I need to find property. So I'll do this one for Hanford. Click the next one. And let's do that one. And you work your way through, you get the idea, and you find the pictures you want. Now, these will always be the same picture. So if you send this, the next time you send it to somebody, you're like, okay, I'm gonna need to reselect the images if I want to do it. So let me get rid of this. The list view will do four down. You can decide I need my logo. Find this, put my logo in. For some reason, my logo is not loading. So I will have to upload a logo. Let's put that one for now. There you go. There's my logo. Delete. This little module right here is social. Right there. That is what that is. Right now, if I hit edit, links, I have Facebook for the company, the old Jordan Link links, and I have the YouTube channel. I can undo this, and now I can manually add the ones that I want and add the URL. This will only save it for this email. If you want them permanent, they have to go into Dash. So whoever your admin is for your office says, hey, here's all my social media URLs. Can you please add them into Dash? What that will do is it'll sync into the 21 Online platform, sync into Moxi, and it'll always be there when you want to use it. So hopefully that makes sense. Put them into Dash. Okay. So that's basically how this thing works. You just build it out. You build out what you want. And this actually, even though you created an email, it's also an email template. It's already an email template because you can reuse this particular email over and over and over and over. Remember, I named it training email. So now let's say I wanted to send this to somebody, and let's say this was complete and I wanted to send it. Let me just add a featured property in here. What the heck? And we'll just pick one. That one. Okay. I am going to save this. So got an email. I put it all together. Once it's saved, we're going to return to emails. There is my email. This is also a template. Even though you send it to somebody, you can send that to 20, 30, 40 people, all you want, and it automatically fill in because of the short codes, the client name, phone number, and all of that information that you use as a short code. The only thing is that property, you're like, oh, I need to change this property because it's in Hanford. This client's in Exeter, whatever the city is. So easiest way to do that is what you do is when you get ready to send this email as a campaign to somebody, you go into campaign. The next one down says campaign. You click it. You says, I need to create one. I don't need these. I need a custom. And here we are. Really simple. Just bear with me. Custom. Category. This is for productivity. I'm not doing nurturing or listing, just for productivity. And I'm going to call this campaign so I remember it. Okay. Test. Test campaign for Bob. This is only for you. Nobody's going to see that. When this email goes out, what they will see is the subject line that you put in that email. So I'm doing this so when I have 100 campaigns, I'm like, God, which is the campaign that I sent Bob? I labeled it. That's all it is. And categorized it. Was it for a buyer? Was it for a listing? Was it nurture? Was it productivity? What was it? So I can filter those and find everything based on productivity. Okay, send as yourself. So send as yourself or on behalf of an agent. I'm going to send it on myself. I could actually, hey Mitz, do you have this option too?
I'm not sure, to be honest with you.
Okay, maybe because I'm an admin, I'm not sure. Okay, so
Hmm.
I'm going to send it on my half and says, okay, that's your first option. Leave it alone. It says define the recipient. Who is it? Is it going to everybody or is it going to a particular person? Browse. And it says, okay, if you have people in tags, because remember I told you about tags, and basically I'll go back and explain how tags works. I have a group called that I tagged, let's say KW under 30. Okay, there's no contacts in that one. This one has no contacts. And I can select all the groups that I want and put them in. Or I can go to contacts individually. It says, okay, out of 2,300 leads, I want to send this to Bob Patel. There you go. That is the only person I want to send this to, and you hit apply. Easy so far. If you have any questions, please stop me. It's really, really, really simple. And you know what? The main thing is if you add yourself as a lead and you just practice these over and over, you will become so efficient that you'll spit them out in no time. And that's the whole thing. You want to create these and create these emails to where you can send them out as many times as you want to different individuals and not have to rewrite the email every single time. So you send it yourself, you pick the person you want, and then at the bottom it says add a module. Okay, I need to schedule an action. There's no subscription contact state. Set start time. Okay, when you drag the start time, it says, hey, when do you want to send this out? If you click the calendar section, well, I want to send this out tomorrow at say 11 a.m. Or you pick the time, or you say, the minute I hit start, right up there, send it. Okay. Then it says, okay, we can do that. What are we doing? What are we sending? It says drop an action condition or delay. I want to send an email, which is training email 01, and then you hit start and it goes out to Bob. Let's say you did the same thing 2 days later and you're sending this to Mitz or on one of your other leads. Like, yeah, but you know what? The content is great, but there's a featured property I don't like. What you can do is you can hit the pencil mark, come in here, go back to the property. There's that one. I'm going to click on this one, hit the little blue house. And now I need to find a different property because this particular lead is going to somebody in Sanger, let's say. So now it's going to show this property. All I have to do is hit save, back, and I'm back here. And that email now has been saved with the other property. I'm not changing the verbiage because I already got placeholders for that. I'm just changing the property to send that particular person. So if you had a single or a list or a full grid, you just change them all out, save, go back, and you're back here. So if I was to preview this email, this is what it would look like. See, the property's already changed. The verbiage is still the same. I already got all the verbiage I want, and the description has changed. So you're like, perfect. All I have to do is edit, change a property, hit back, and now once you want this to go out, this is how you want it, you hit start. It's on its way. Simple as that. Does anybody have any questions? Am I going too fast?
No, nothing on the chat right now.
Okay, so really, really simple. You create your email, you create a campaign, you go to create custom, select category, whatever it is, give it the name so you know, like, oh my God, whose campaign is this? Did I send it to Tiffany or is it Michaela? So I'm going to name it. Who is it going to? It's going to myself. Find the person I'm going to send it to. Let's say this person. And I want to start date. When I hit start, I want this email to go out. And the email is going to be, drag the email box. And the email I'm going to select is this one. And if the property is different because they live in a different area, you're going to hit the pencil mark. So you can edit this particular property and you're going to hit the house and it says, okay, this particular person lives somewhere else. So I need it for Porterville. There we go. And that particular house is here now. And then when you hit save, go back, hit start, email goes out. But it's repetition. Now, one of the cool things that they did, since nobody seems to have a question at the moment, we are going to go back and we are going to create a email. I want to create that I can find shared, market insight. This one, market insight. So you go to emails and you search market and you'll find this one called market insight. So you click this one, you go next. So this one's going to be a market insight for 93291. So I'm going to create this only for the 93291 area. So every time I get a lead, buyer or seller, I can put them on this as, hey, I'm going to add you to a market insight report that's going to show you what the market looks like in your zip code. And you let me know when you're ready to move or buy, whichever one it is. You decide how you want to do this. And we can set this up to repeat. Okay, so market insight is a set and done, and you're done. Okay, so we're going to do it for 93291. I'm going to hit done. I'm going to show you how easy it is. The hard part is you're going to have to go into this verbiage and put content related to 93291, especially if it's because of individuals that you have in your database that are looking to move that way. We want to make sure that, hey, if you're looking to move to one of the highest, highly desirable neighborhoods in Northwest Visalia, blah, 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 you want to make sure you put verbiage and also right there where the second Costco just opened a month ago. You want to make sure that verbiage is insightful to 93291. You're still going to go through and say, Dear Bob, and you're like, you know what? I got everybody's last names in there. Great. Last name. Insight location is going to be here because remember on the contact, you put in the location that they might be interested in. And you fill in all this information. And then you do this like all the other ones. You fill it in all the verbiages, add all the shortcodes. So you guys are good with that, I hope. This particular box right here says contact matching is enabled. So what this will do, it'll send the client the data of that zip code based on the client. Dynamic. So what dynamic means, if you turn that off, it's going to show a graph like this of the day you created this email. So if you set this to go out every month, it's going to be static. That same picture is going to go out every month. When you leave this alone to dynamic, it says use the data that is current at send time. So if you set this to go out every month to particular leads, it'll update the content for the time and the date goes out. The content will be updated automatically. You never have to redo this because you've already done it. So this is really cool. If you notice here, there's a little bar graph on the bottom right-hand corner. So we know that we want to leave it dynamic. Just want to show you what all the options are. We've got 20 minutes. This little section on the bottom right-hand corner says chart. How do you want it? Do you want to show average price, median price, list versus sold, listing volume, or average days on the market? What do you want to show the customer? Let's say you want to do list versus sold. Great. Market area is set to match. Great. I want to do the last, let's say 6 months. I want to show them the last 6 months. And do you want it a line graph or do you want it a bar graph? You're like, I want to do bar graph. Great. Do you want single family and condos? Yep, leave them in there. I'm good with that. Perfect. I'm going to show you how it works. Style says, hey, when you do a bar graph or a chart, what colors do you want them? So these are pretty close to each other, chart colors. So I said, you know what? I'm going to switch it up a little. The first chart, I want it to be gold. So at least there's a slight discrepancy between the two. It doesn't look almost the same. And you could decide what color do you want the grid. It's all customizable. So I'm going to hit done. And let me see if it'll preview. Nothing. It's not going to preview yet. Now, if I undo dynamic here, it'll show it this way. Okay. We said we wanted gold. Okay. So that's where that is. If you hit the edit, this is the only thing. Do you have a padding, like just like the verbiage, the text? Do you want a padding? Do you want a background color? Do you want this and this? Restrictions and contacts. The contacts mean we've turned it based on insight location. I want everybody that I add to this to show the market data for the insight location. You may decide, no, I want to set it for where they live, the zip code that they live. Let me know when you're thinking about selling, because maybe this email is more regarded to 93291, market insight 93291 sellers. So maybe you label that email that way. So like, oh, this is for sellers. Okay, great. So then you flip this to where the contacts live, so they'll get market data on their own zip code. Hopefully they're like, oh, it looks like a good time to sell, and go out. This section says, hey, if the contact doesn't have a zip code in their location, hide the chart, don't send the email, or put a default location. If you pick default, you can say, you know what? If nothing's in there, then showcase Visalia. And it'll put the data for Visalia if none of your leads have a zip code in their address. Or you can say, you know what? Don't even send the email. I don't want that email going out because it's just going to look off. That's how you customize this part. So let's say we're going to leave it. We're going to go to Insight zip code. Okay. And then this on each lead, and I'll show you where it is, there's information to where they can get property information based on their criteria on their market. So let me send this particular email. I'm going to save this market insight. And of course, these are all the same. So I'm going to just save this. We're going to go back. and see Market Insight for 93291. I'm going to go to campaign, to do a new. I'm going to create. I'm going to browse for Bob, contacts, Bob Patel, apply. I am going to set a time. I'm going to do it on start as soon as I hit start. And I want to send him an email, which is Market Insight for 93291 and start. Gone. So easy. The hard part is most of you, you gotta just take time to practice. So let me go back into here and I'm going to show you something. Gmail. Hopefully it'll come through. And sometimes it takes a little bit. No baby showers today. Leo, training, Bill, Hugo, not here yet. And not here yet. Spam. No. Okay, so we're gonna give it a second, see if hopefully it pops up in my email. No, okay. We'll come back and check on it. So what was my train of thought? Um, Tags. So anybody have any questions on this part so far? Michaela, Maria, Susanna, Cass, do you guys have any questions on this part? Emails or campaigns?
Bob, have you ever done like a delayed email?
Say
Like,
that one more time.
have you ever done a delayed email? Like you send off an email, the next step you want it to be the next email to go out like 3 days from now. Is it just a matter of days? Like I've actually never used that. I was looking at the list.
Right here, you go to this part.
Okay.
Set start time. So basically, see these campaigns are going.
Hmm.
Oh, they're in draft mode. Okay. Oh no, why did it go in draft mode? Saw it? Back. Now they're running. They were in draft mode. That's weird. So you mean a campaign? So when you create let's say a custom one, and
Yeah.
you've already selected the user and who it's going to, of course, you're going to
Mhm.
select the start time. In here, you select when do you want it to go out.
Yeah, there's one below it that says to set delay or date. I've never used that before. So you can say how many days you want the next one to go out, or
You mean here?
it's on the right hand column, right underneath start time. Yes, I've never seen that before. So okay, yeah, so you can say so many weeks or days till the
Yeah.
next one.
So if
It's
you're adding
cool.
another one, 2 weeks later, I want to send out another email.
That's
3 days
cool.
later, I want to send out another one.
Uh-huh.
So let's say the first email. No, let me get rid of this. On start. So we are going to send an email. This is, let's say, the market insight. And then I want to set a delay of, let's say, 1 week. And then I'm going to send an email
That's
that
cool.
is going to be maybe my training email.
Uh-huh.
And then you build them out. 5 days later, I want to send this. 3 days later, I want to send this. Exactly, that way. Now, one
Uh-huh.
of the things that you have to realize if you do the market insight, because it's filling, we put it to dynamic of the time at the time it goes out, have the right data. You remember that part? Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So when you do the market data, let's see here, when you do just sold houses, townhouses, apartments, send an automated property email. We're not doing that one. What am I doing? Um, Where did I get Well, how did I get lost? Um, the market insight, I was just doing that. That's the market insight. This one houses, no, cancel.
Might be a different campaign.
No, it was a standard campaign.
Oh, okay.
If you go just create a campaign and you go start time and you were gonna select the market insight, come on,
Hmm.
come down here. I want to send a market insight for 93291, right?
Hmm.
I can select here
Oh.
on start time, hit recurring and says, okay, Mr. Seller, I can set you up on a campaign that you'll know what's happening in your zip code, the market data. Would you like me to set you up weekly, every 2 weeks, every month, or every 3 months? But I
Hmm.
honestly think every 3 months is too late. If you're looking to sell within the next few months, let me just set it up weekly. It's just one email you're going to get from me. It's going to show you if there's any fluctuations in the market. You decide when you're ready and you call me. Or let's just do 2 weeks instead of, we don't want to wait a month. This is how you adjust that. So that, and you can't do that for every email because it's going to say the same verbiage. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
But if you have a generic verbiage, hey, here's your updated market report, market insight, something like that, then it'll apply every time you send it. And then, but the data will change out from the date that it was got sent.
Hmm.
If I go to my email, let me see if it's in here. Man, so many people having a baby shower. Oh my God.
At least you're invited.
No, 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 no. For some reason, it's not coming out. I'm sorry, guys. I don't have that email. The market insight report's actually pretty good, but for some reason, there's a slight delay in the email going out. Because if I go to campaigns, see, they went back to draft. So there may
Hmm.
be a glitch somewhere. I don't understand why they're going back into a draft mode because we already set up to go out.
Maybe they still haven't officially,
I
done
don't
those.
know. I have no idea why it keeps pausing, but anybody have any questions on creating emails?
It's pretty straightforward.
It is, but I don't want everybody to be all shy.
No, but I mean,
Anybody? Let me go through and where am I? Pause, breakout room. Where do we unmute everybody for God's sake?
oh,
Stop sharing. Oh, host tools. Okay. I've unmuted everybody. Hey, Michaela, do you have any questions? Hopefully I'm saying your first name right.
Yeah, no questions. Everything makes perfect sense.
You
Yeah, everything was nice and straightforward. Thank you.
you're welcome. So if there's no other questions from anybody, we're gonna wrap it up and then we'll send an email out on a different topic. Or if you have a particular topic or something that you want to learn on Moxie, send it out to me. Hey, Michaela, if you do also, let me know. And I can set it up as a training for and invite everybody else to join in and then do that training for you and everybody else. So if you have any specific needs, just let me know.
Sounds good. Thanks, Bob.
You're
all right.
welcome. So you
Take it
guys
easy,
have a
Bob.
great day. Do you have any other last minute questions, Mitch?
No, it's good to see it being done in front of you, which is the easiest way to learn. All
Yeah. So, well, you guys have a great week and then we'll catch you next week. Have a good
right.
one.
Thanks, Bob.
Likewise. Thanks, Bob.
You're
Bye.
welcome.